SpaceX has been putting wins on the board ever since the company was founded. It is the first company ever to reuse a rocket, the first private company ever to reach Earth's orbit, the first private company with more than 100 successful launches, and a lot more. So you may ask, what is SpaceX? Where did it come from? And what is its mission? We will answer all those questions in this video. Hey everyone and welcome to the book club. This is Elon Musk's week. We talk about his journey from South Africa to the USA and from being a bullied child to becoming the wealthiest man in the world. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any videos from this series. In our previous videos we talked about Elon's early life and his time at Zip2 and PayPal. If you haven't watched them yet, we highly recommend that you go back and check them out. Otherwise, here come Elon's journey at SpaceX. After selling PayPal to eBay, Elon Musk made $180 million, which is an awful lot of money. If anyone other than Elon made this fortune, he would probably start a luxurious life. But Elon went after his next ambitious dream. He decided to move to Los Angeles in pursuit of his childhood fantasies about rockets and space. Because NASA, Boeing, US Air Force, and other space-related organizations have performed most of their work in or around Los Angeles. While Elon still didn't know exactly what he wanted to do in space, he realized that just by being in Los Angeles he would be surrounded by the world's top aeronautics thinkers. One day Elon went to NASA's website and expected to find a detailed plan for exploring Mars, but he found nothing. Then he realized that NASA's budget is decreasing, and there wasn't much interest in the general public about what was going on in space. So he came up with a plan called Mars Oasis. The objective of Mars Oasis was to land a small greenhouse on Mars and then use automated processes to grow some crops and directly stream the video of plants growing to the Earth. So people all around the world get inspired about science, space, and the future once again. And more importantly, NASA get the funding it deserves for more space explorations. Musk wanted to spend around $20 to $30 million on the mission. But he found out that the cheapest USA-based rocket at that time was $65 million. So he went to Russia 3 times for buying a refurbished ICBM, which didn't come to an agreement either because of the high price. On the way back from one of these meetings with the Russians, Elon did some basic calculations and found out that he could start a company that could build the rocket with only 3% of the sales price of a rocket at that time. This idea of creating cost-efficient rockets eventually led to the creation of SpaceX in the year 2002. Although most of his friends warned him about the risks, as he said in one of his interviews.
I had so many people try to talk me out of starting a rocket company, it was crazy.
What did they tell you?
One good friend of mine collected a whole series of of videos of rockets blowing up and made me watch those. He just didn't want me to lose all my money.
He started the company and named his first rocket Falcon 1, after the Millennium Falcon in Star Wars. Falcon 1 had one Merlin engine on its first stage, a Kestrel engine on its second stage, and it was capable of taking 450 kilograms to low Earth orbit. In one of the earliest presentations, SpaceX announced that its first launch would take place in November 2003, or about 15 months after the company started. But due to some issues, the first launch took place in 2006. SpaceX launched the first Falcon 1 from Kwajalein Atoll in the Pacific on the 24th of March 2006. But only 30 seconds into the flight the rocket failed, and it crashed into the ocean. The next year on the 21st of March, SpaceX tried again with a Falcon 1 that had a flight for more than 5 minutes, but spun out of control just before reaching orbit. Musk and SpaceX team saw this launch as somewhat of a success because they received a lot of information regarding the flight of Falcon 1, how to control it, and what ways they can improve upon it for the next launch. On August 3, 2008, Falcon 1 was again on the launch pad with a new powerful engine, and SpaceX was hopeful for this to be their first successful mission, as they had 4 satellites on board as well. But during the separation stage, because of the strength of the new engine, the first stage had a second push and collide with the second stage, which caused the rocket to get out of control. The loss of its first 3 rockets pushed SpaceX to the brink of bankruptcy. But Elon Musk, which had already invested all of his own money, didn't give up and went to some other fellow entrepreneurs and convinced them to invest in the company. You may think that SpaceX had to test everything because this was their last chance. But all they did was fixing the separation problem and launch Falcon 1 for the 4th time, just 7 weeks after the 3rd launch. On 28 September 2008, SpaceX became the first company to privately develop and successfully launch a liquid-fueled rocket to orbit and prove to themselves and the world that failure is the stepping stone to success. With the successful launch of Falcon 1, SpaceX received a $1.6 billion contract from NASA for delivering cargo to the International Space Station with a minimum of 12 flights. That was the story behind the first days and the initial struggles of SpaceX. We will talk more about this great company in our next video. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell icon so you get notified. Thanks book lovers for watching the video till the end. We hope you learned a thing or two about this impressive company. But before you go, we are curious, would you take all those risks Elon did if you were the CEO of SpaceX?